Okay, cool. So yeah, I work day to day with Angular and JavaScript. I write a lot of functional code. You guys might remember me and Kevin talking before about functional JavaScript with Rambo, which is pretty cool. But today I'm just going to talk about like a really cool thing. It's like a new hotness for us and our team, and we really love using it. And it's just basically a way to clean up your scripts and basically helping you document things, helping people down the line that might get your code. So we get touch a little bit on literate programming, but that's more just about a cool new thing. And so I have a solution, so I had to make up the problem. This is not necessarily a problem for you. The problem for us was we had like really long one-liner statements in our packaged JSON files, like in the scripts. And sometimes they're hard to know what's going on. So I think you really want to maybe comment that or write some documentation about it, but that typically doesn't happen. And the next person that comes and he needs to read that, it actually doesn't know what's going on because it's quite complicated. Future maintainers of the project have no clue, and they need to come back to you and ask. So we've got a service desk sort of department, and they struggle with this quite a lot because they're not like JavaScript developers per se, but they get stuck with a JavaScript project and they end up like struggling a little bit, things like this. Okay, so the obvious like solution, I'm sure everyone's done it, is this is hard to understand. And then someone goes, okay, you're writing docs. And the guy sits for a day or two and he writes a whole bunch of docs. And they might be accurate, they might be cool, but they might not be. Okay? They're written as an afterthought, so they might be pretty poor actually. And they might be like the bare minimum that you need. At the end of the day, when things change in your scripts, those docs get old, they become stale. No one updates them, you eventually delete them and you write new docs, etc. Okay. So, to get around this, wouldn't it be cool if we had like living, breathing documentation? Documentation that you're working in all the time. The code that you're talking about is right there next to the thing. Okay? Documentation that's runnable. Cool. So that's sort of where literate programming sort of steps in. It's like sort of the two. It's this intermingling of the code and your documentation in sort of one place. So the documentation are, in like our case, maybe our build scripts, and the scripts are the documentation. They're one thing. They live together. They change together. They don't become stale. The one doesn't become stale next to the other. Okay, cool. So the next question is like we're writing documentation. What are we going to write it in? I don't know. Someone might say Word or I don't know, or ASCII art, sticks and mud. I don't know. So the obvious one is Markdown. It's the de facto. If you've been on GitHub at any point, you would have seen Markdown already. Microsoft, all of their docs are on GitHub in Markdown. So if a company like that's a document, you can start a document. If you haven't written Markdown, has anyone not written Markdown here before? Cool. So it's a really just simple markup language for being able to write like documentation essentially. So if you want to bold something, you just wrap stars around it. If you want something to be a heading, you just have a hash in front of it, and etc. We'll see some of it now. So Markdown already has support for code blocks inside of it. But we just need the ability to run those code blocks. Okay, so you might have seen in like examples that you read this example and this is how you do it, and here's the code example. We want to run those, okay? And this is where Maid steps in. So Maid is actually like super duper simple. It's just like a command line tool that allows you to run the code that is inside the Markdown file. Okay? So you write your scripts inside your docs, and then you use English to describe how your code is going to run, okay? How your one script interacts with the other, and so on. Cool. So that sounds great, but it sounds weird and hard, and maybe something to learn. But it's actually not. If you know Markdown, you really know how to do it. Then you really have the script. And it actually comes down to two really simple things. The first thing is your script name is just the H2. That's what you're going to use to run the piece of code. And your code is always inside of triple backticks. And if you don't know what backticks are, we're going to show you now. So now sort of the time to jump into this really scary part, because demos never go well, in my experience. Okay, cool. Because you see on the left here, I've just got a demo directory. I've got a Maid file in there, maid.file.md markdown file. And on the right, this is the demo one sort of markdown file. And we can see we've got two sections here. We've got a test section, and we've got a linting section. And we've got just an explanation, essentially our documentation. If you view a preview of it, it's nice and pretty. You could put a badge here and get some, like, I don't know, what are they called, like some sort of reputation on GitHub, because you've got like a build status and it's passing on Circle CI or whatever. So you could put that there. But now my code is here, and I've commented. I've got living code actually. So we'll see how that goes. So the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need Maid. So you're going to use Maid like this. If you don't have it, obviously you're just going to npm install. You can install it globally, and you can install Maid like that. You can install it as a dev dependency and run it in certain ways. So now we can execute Maid and use it. So the first thing we do is we say, okay, Maid, help me. Okay? Someone must have said this to their Maid. Okay, cool. So Maid say, okay, cool. Like, well, this is what we know how to do. We know how to test things, and test runs with the client test, and lint makes sure that the code follows coding conventions. Okay? So, cool, this is like a man page. But now, we can do things, we can run things. So, let's test. Okay, ran our test. Really super simple. So you can see in the output here, we started test. We ran our really thorough tests. And
100% code going.
and we can see 100% code. Yeah, there's actually no code set. Yes. Okay, good. And we've got some outputs. We see how long it ran, etc. Okay. And similarly, we could lint our code. This actually, I just did a install of Angular just to see. That was quite quick for. It wasn't quite quick, it's 5 seconds. There's literally no code in there. Okay. Oh no, I like it. Okay, cool. But this is super basic. Or you could just use just a script and HTML file. That's not the point. It's just to show you the basics of how it works. So in our second demo, we'll go a little bit further. Okay. So again, we've got the same sort of commands. We've got test, and we've got lint, and we've got the same code blocks. But now, in our team, we always like to run our linting before our tests. Okay. So this is something that you usually put inside of your scripts, but why not just document it? Why don't you make that explicit? So in Maid, if we say, okay, well, it lints everything, it lints and tests whatever, we're going to say, okay, well, this test command also runs the lint task for it. Okay? So now, just go to demo. We say Maid test. It's going to automatically, you see there, it's starting linting. It's going to take ages because it's Angular. And then it's going to complete. So it ran the test after the linting. So these are things that are in our documentation. We're using the English language to display how our build scripts interact and work together. We're not relying on tribal knowledge to know, oh yeah, they run, this one runs after that one, and so on. It's documented. And if we look at our preview again, it's still pretty. We're missing our badge. It's nice and pretty. Okay. Still, it's quite basic. The before keyword and surrounding the backtick, that's the key. Okay, so runs, task, before, after, this. That's what you need to say. Okay. So if we go to demo 3. Cool. So we'll get a little bit more fancy. Just go there. Okay, cool. So now in our third demo we've got something a little different. Okay? We've got some install scripts. Again, they're like super basic. It's just npm. Okay, but we're just installing things for our clients, and we're installing things for our server. Okay, so we've got an API and we've got an Angular client. Okay, we can just group those together if we want them to happen together. So we've got a install command. And that says, okay, well, it installs all the dependencies, both the client and the server, and it runs task install client and install server in parallel. Okay? So if I run, this is going to be interesting, so I'm probably going to whack them on over, so if I run install, see how it's starting them together in parallel, and it's going to run my install like that, which is cool, nice and easy. And similarly, if I wanted to like maybe start things together, so I've got start client, start server. Again, I'm going to start them up together in parallel. Runs the task in parallel, and it explains exactly what it's doing. So we say Maid help. We've got our man page. This explains exactly what you do. You get this project, you've never seen it before. Like, how nice is it to say like, hey, like, what's going on? How do I do this? That's how you do it. Look at the read the docs and run the docs. So it's a pretty cool thing. So if we start things up, start. Cool. So it started the API, and then Angular will take 2 hours. So we'll start that. It's fast, and it's like, okay, just have a coffee or something. And then, so you can run these scripts also in isolation. So if you just want to start the server, you could do that. You can just run Maid, and this one run Angular. Yeah, server. You can do that too. Okay. So it's pretty simple, but I'll go one step further. Okay, so usually what happens is you get to this point, you're like, this is really cool and it's really handy, but I've already got a README file. I don't want a Maid file. I don't need an extra markdown file. I just want my README file to be my file. Okay. Well, you can really easily do that. So we've done that before. So now we've got a README file. You see the ls there in the top left. Okay? So I did it before, it's just our README. Like, hey, cool, like we've got a cool README file. Let's show it is over here. Awesome. So we've got some nice descriptions here. We've got an intro. It's really pointless reading. Did you get the idea? And then we have a script section. So all you need to do is, oh, where's mine? Go away. Okay, cool. So all you need to do to tell Maid now, okay, I just need to tell you like where my scripts are in my markdown file. You just stick this comment here, Maid task. And then the only other difference is that instead of the H2, the 2 hashtags, it's going to be the 3. Okay, that's only it. So again, if we say Maid help, okay, we have the exact same task from the previous one because I just copy pasted things, but it works all the same. Okay, so this is how you can actually start moving this into your README, start using it. Okay, there's no real like barrier to entry at all. Okay, good. We'll go back to the slides. Okay, cool. So like the next thing is like maybe you are at a JavaScript meetup or whatever. You might not like Bash, so just use JavaScript. You can do that. So if you just say, okay, well this code box is JS, it'll work. You can run it. You can console.log things. You can even use like async await. It gets a bit funky now because you have to export it and whatever. You can use async await. You can also like require things. Yeah, so you could use JavaScript. Or like if you like maybe hate yourself or something, you could use Python. I don't know, I'll throw that in there if you want to use it, it's there. So you've got a few options. Typically you're writing in Bash. You've got a few options. Okay, cool. So sort of in closing, if you're on Windows, you're going to need to use Git Bash to run this, or Windows Subsystem for Linux. It's not just going to work in the command line, or the normal command line. And you can use your README file as you saw, and you can pass arguments to your tasks, like actually really easy. So if you just go look at the docs, you'll see that's really easy to do. It just depends on what language you're writing the script in. But yeah, that's it. Cool. Any questions?